Sorry, the lighting is not great. It is the daytime, but it is dark as hell out right now. It's pouring rain. So let's dive into the video. The first thing I like to do before I start my meal and planning process is just to take stock of what we currently have in the fridge, and that way we can use up what we already have. So let's have a quick look in the fridge. All right, so I'm seeing already we have a lot of chopped veg from our meal planning last week. I bought a full red cabbage last week, and obviously I don't know who in their right mind would get through a full red cabbage in 1 week, so we have a lot of that. We have some broccoli, lettuce, some red onion. We have some chopped cucumber, and we also have a whole cucumber. We still have some meal prepped rice and some chopped parsley. We have arugula and baby spinach. Great. Even more red cabbage. I also have cilantro, I think. Yeah. Oh, and we have a red sauce, a tomato sauce. We should definitely get through that as well. Don't want that to go to waste. And I think most of the other things in here are not at risk of going bad. Let's check on how much tofu we have. Oh, we only have a half block, so we will definitely need some tofu. And let me just tilt you guys down so you can see. All right. As you can see, we have a lot of food right here. So I think we will have a little bit of fun trying to figure out how we can incorporate all this into the meals we want to make this week. We have even more food. We have baby potatoes, we have a yam, we have celery, we still have a half of a red cabbage, even more red cabbage. We have a tomato, and we have 1 red pepper, and we have some limes and lemons. It's gonna be quite the spread. So unlikely we're gonna be buying much produce this week. We have a lot to get through here. So let's try to sit down and figure out what we can do with all of this for our meals. Let's begin the planning process. This is my cat. This is where he sits while I plan. He is kind of obsessed with my iPad. He plays mouse games on it all the time. So whenever I have the iPad out, he thinks we're playing. But let's set the mood, and if you are going to plan alongside me, then let's dive in. So we will start with this recipe card we have from Fresh Prep. This is a local company that does meal plan delivery service, kind of like HelloFresh, and we absolutely love them. And this meal is a go-to for us just because it's so easy and we usually have the ingredients for it. So it is a tofu poke bowl. I think the only thing we need for this is edamame and some green onions. So this is a nice easy meal for us to whip up, and it helps us use up some of our cucumber because I had 2 full cucumbers to use up. I will start to fill in some of my meals for the week outside of dinners. So I have been absolutely obsessed with these freezer breakfast burritos I've been making. They are so easy to whip up on the spot, and they have a lot of protein. They have like over 30 grams of protein. I have been just loving them. I tend to hyperfixate on my meals, especially breakfast for some reason. I'll get a recipe that I just love, and then I will eat it until I'm sick of it, and then I will move on to the next one. Right now it's these freezer burritos, and I can't stop having them. Here I am crossing off our Saturday and Sunday, and that is because we are leaving to go on a trip on Friday. We only need groceries up until Friday night, and we will definitely be trying to use up whatever's in our fridge. Here I am just copying Tuesday's dinner to Wednesday's lunch, and this is a big tip for anyone out there, just to limit the amount of time you're cooking, is make larger meals and then have the leftovers for lunch the next day. You will never catch me making a meal for 2 people. And if you aren't a big fan of leftovers, the big thing that I like to do is to just make components for meals. So for example, if I was to have the tofu poke bowl for lunch the next day, instead of combining everything and letting everything sit, you would just keep the components separated, and then when you're ready to have it, you just combine it together, and that way it feels fresh. Next up, what I did here is I just Googled vegan meals that have red cabbage because we had so much red cabbage to get through. I like to do this a lot actually. If I have certain ingredients I just need to get through. This bowl sounded really good except for the quinoa. I'm not a big fan of quinoa. Sometimes there's a time and place for it. I think that this dish would be a lot better with soba noodles. I think we will do that. This recipe is nice because we basically have everything in this dish. I don't think we have carrots, but it's not a huge deal. We'll just swap something else in, maybe edamame. We're definitely going to add tofu to this dish. I would need a protein source. I am adding that soba noodle bowl under Monday's dinner, and like I said, I will copy that over to Tuesday's lunch, and then we just have a couple more dinners to figure out. So here I'm just adding leftovers for Monday's lunch, and these will be from Sunday's dinner. Because we could buy groceries Sunday to Sunday, I usually do have to think about Sunday as the first meal of the week. Sometimes I just treat Monday meals like the Sunday meals and just move everything down one. So I was looking at what we had left over for veggies, and we have some arugula and broccoli because we made a pesto pasta last week, a lemony pesto. That was really good. So why not just kind of recreate that? It was pretty easy to throw together as well. So I added that down for our meal on Wednesday. I will also be adding what we will have on Thursday night. So I was looking at what veggies we had left, and we had to get through some potatoes, both a yam and a potato. And we also had even more red cabbage, as you saw. So I figured we could have maybe some burgers with air fried potatoes and a coleslaw on the side. And instead of planning a whole other meal, I think what I'm gonna do is just copy the tofu poke bowl for dinners on Friday. And now I will just go through and try to figure out what ingredients I'm missing. This meal was nice. I don't think we needed anything except for the soba noodles. These are the best meals where you look at what you need and you really only need a couple of components. And here I am just starting to write down all of the ingredients I'm seeing that we are missing. I usually just spitball these, whatever comes to mind. We'll just go through every dish and try to figure out what I need. If I'm making something that I am just whipping up on the spot, no recipe, and I'll just try to really go through every step of what I'm making and figure out what I need. So I think a mistake a lot of people make when meal planning is they look up 5 different recipes. They don't think too much on if any of the components overlap or if they could just sub in certain ingredients for other ones. This comes with time. I think cooking is a much more fluid, creative process than, baking. Baking is very technical, and you need to make sure that you're using the right ingredients in the right amounts. Cooking, luckily, is a lot more open, and you can swap things out. I think that that's the fun part. What I like to do is find recipes that have similar components or ingredients that I can easily sub or swap in. For example, any greens. If a recipe calls for spinach, but I'm already buying kale, I'm not going to buy kale and spinach. I'll just buy kale or whatever I think is going to work the best. And then I added a couple of extra ingredients that we end up picking up every single week, no matter what, like our soy milk and vegan yogurt. And here is a quick glance at the overall meal plan spread. So I will now go into my Notion and I will start adding all of my ingredients in the order that they show up in the grocery store. So this is a huge tip for me. Every time I don't do this, I end up being really upset with myself because I am running back and forth between different aisles. So if you know your grocery store, try writing your list in the correct order. It really does make a huge difference. So I will continue to add all of my ingredients, and I realize I forgot to add edamame to my list, and therefore I forgot to grab it. But I hope you enjoyed this portion of the video, and I will insert some clips from the grocery store. We are in the car. We are going grocery shopping, and yeah, I will talk to you guys after that. We are at No Frills. Hydrate. All right, so that was relatively successful. I think my total was like 83 bucks or something like that. So definitely cheaper than our usual grocery bill. 83 bucks, I'm not mad about it. Let's go home. Hello, sorry for not updating you guys. I last talked to you guys at the grocery store, and since then I came back and then I had lots of editing to do. So my boyfriend kindly helped me with the meal prep for the week. So he helped make the burritos, the breakfast burritos, and he also helped me chop all the veggies, prep all the tofu, get all that stuff ready, and then we made the soba noodle bowl completely, so it's just in a big Tupperware and we can just heat that up whenever we want to eat it. And then he helped me make the pasta as well. And then we also made rice and all of the components for the tofu bowl. So those are ready to go for whenever we need to eat them. And I don't have a better outro, I apologize, but my arm hurt a little bit, so I had to readjust. That is it for this video. I really do appreciate you joining me. If you would like to see the meal prep portion of the video, I can film that on a week that it better suits my schedule. But yes, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye.